Ankolam nijabijazam titirayaskantopalam suchika Sadvi naijavibhum latakshitiroham sindhusaridvallabham Prapnoti gayatha tata pashupate Adaravindadvayam Cheto vritti rupetya tishtati sada Sabhakti rityuchyate. Here, Shankaracharya in Shivananda Lagari tells about Bhakti. He gives 5 examples. First 3 are Dvaitam, that is duality, based on duality. The next one is based on Vishitta Dvaitam, that is, I am part of the Lord. And the last one is about Advaitam, oneness. So the first example is, there is a tree called Ankolam. In that tree, as soon as the seeds fall, the seeds rush towards the main trunk of the tree. That's one example. The second example given is Skanto Balam Suchika, like the how needle is attracted towards the magnet. Next example given is a chaste lady is thinking only about her husband and the husband is away. So these 3 are Dvaitic examples. The next one is Latakshiti Rukham. A creeper is there. If it goes on the ground, many persons will trample it. So there's a tree nearby. It catches hold of the tree nearby and just grows very fast. You can see that in the forest. How if you want to cut the creeper, you have to cut the tree. Then only so it is entertained so much. The last example given is Advaita Vedanta. That is, when the river reaches the sea, it cannot be separated whatever you do. So these are all the ways of bhakti, and any one of the ways you can take and just be that. Ishvara comes.
Thank you. As Bhagavan used to say, the best devotion is that you stay as self. That is the best bhakti. When you shed your ego, get rid of your ego, and stay as that, that is the best bhakti. Here you have sacrificed that ego to that absolute, that self. I believe that is Advaitic bhakti, that is non-duality, hitting directly where you have to be. People says that the one who does bhakti with duality, there's no harm in it. And what happens is that in that duality, even if you don't merge into that oneness, they say that if you love that duality so much that you don't want to get fully absorbed into the absolute. And sometimes they give an example like honey and a bee. So you don't want to just keep tasting as a separate. That absolute is so compassionate. They say that you go to Brahmlok and you enjoy that bliss or that bhakti or devotion there. And from there, then you merge into absolute path of no return. So it is like your last desire, you want to continue with that. And that is also being granted. Even in duality, even in bhakti, if you just look and contemplate, the doer of bhakti will dissolve in that absolute. Kabir says beautifully, प्रेम गली अति सांकरी इसमें दो न समाए. Love lane is so narrow that two cannot come in it, only one. When your bhakti is so intense, you can even call it as a stage. Non-duality is the last, as Neelakantan ji was reading this shloka. It comes at the last, after Vishishtadvaita. It actually comes as the last only. After that, there is nothing. If we check this personality in us, and the simplest method to check is to observe, to witness, not even to judge. Keeping your energy as awareness. Some people say, I use this term awareness and they don't understand. You can use any term or no term. But whenever a thought arises, I will do this, then I have to take this. This one who is talking all the time, see to whom he is talking to. When I'm saying talking, I'm talking about these internal talking happening in form of thoughts. To whom these thoughts are reporting to. Who is saying? You will say, I'm talking to myself. That I have to do this thing, now I have to do that thing, now this person said this to me, and always on the go. If you just observe this happening inside, rather than giving energy to these thoughts, accepting, yes, it is me, and thoughts is me, and I am guiding myself, and that's the way I have always worked, then you cannot go deeper. Then you stay as a wave and you accept as a wave. You have to dive deeper, you have to leave, you have to observe, means you are leaving, detaching yourself from this all, working at the level of wave, not going deeper and seeing what you are. This is a projection and you live in projection. All our life stays in projection and we die in projection. They even say to an extent that a person worldly minded lives and dies without knowing what the soul is. Can you believe? And can live and die millions of births, still doesn't know about himself or herself, though might be knowing so many things. He can be a physicist, mathematician, engineer, accountant, teacher, but he will have no clue who am I and will continue on this journey. Because this knowing of self can only come, I call it grace. Otherwise, people are not here. Wherever you live, you go around each house and ask, do you know yourself? Are you interested in self? Are you doing an inquiry for self? Are you in self? Maybe one in million you will find, or maybe perhaps not. Someone wrote in comments that we are such a small minority. There is so much in this world which takes your mind away from the self. You open radio, television, media, you talk to family, friends. Everything is talking about outside world, about shares, properties, relationships, money, business, suffering, disease, indulgence, places. Even the one who are talking about God also talk in dualistic way. Do it and finish it, keeping it at that level only for that moment, and then busy with that ego. This journey is your own journey. You don't have to say how many people you need, then you will go on this journey. And I say this journey is because of that grace, nothing else. How it came to you, not to others, who knows? Emily has a question. Yes, Emily?
Yes, namaskaram.
Namaskar, namaskar, Emily. Yes,
Uh,
go ahead.
so basically, the thoughts get power, or we give power to the thoughts only when we pay attention to that. And when each thoughts come, the question, who am I, is a method or a way to redirect our attention to the self.
Yes,
Is that right? Yeah.
that is also. Are you doing that?
Yeah.
And what happens?
When I ask the question, who am I, that thought vanishes. And at least for a while, I don't have like more thoughts or no thoughts. Previously, I was like going through such a hard time when I talked to you last week, because um, something like whatever I was thinking was happening, good or bad. That was actually scary. I was having such a hard time with that. Then, um, from one of your satsangs, I heard that your thoughts or sankalpas are happening only because you are giving power to that. And after that, I started practicing this. I was doing this before also, but maybe not that intense or at all the time. And feeling much better. I mean, I don't see those happening now. The thoughts. Previously, it was like whatever I was thinking, good or bad, it was happening. So I don't see that now after I started doing this.
That's good. Just one more thing I would add to your practice is that when a thought comes, you can also say whom this thought is coming to.
Mm.
Because you are that pure self. which is not dependent on thoughts to act or perform, or for the things to manifest or not manifest. Asking, just putting this, that whom these thoughts are coming to, and staying as a witness, as awareness, as self, that is more than enough, because thoughts are only reporting to ego. And if that doesn't settle thoughts, then you can ask then second question, who am I? If you think thoughts are coming to you. But more you practice, you will realize that even just when a thought comes and you witness to it, it just disappears because you're not giving any energy in form of ego to thoughts. So I think you are doing right, and just be vigilant rather than, I would say, doing it only one day and then not doing it. This observation should continue all the time. It's not even paranoid. It is, look, a simple thought does not harm anyone. Let's say, um, I have to prepare tea or something like that, and you prepare tea. It's mainly these psychological thoughts about things, beings, situations, and all, which actually take up our energy, because that's what the ego play is. And when you put this to whom these thoughts are coming, and when you're already a very mature seeker, then you will realize that just by putting this, or maybe just paying attention, you come back into the witness mode where thoughts cannot talk to you. And then there is silence. And it is so beautiful. So continue with this practice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think sometimes we feel that results should be immediate because everything is about fast food or quick results and instantaneous. But this is a slow process. It also depends what other processes you were doing before. And we don't really know how long our journey, what have we collected. In a nutshell, if you understand, there are only two problems. One is our attachment to things and beings. So, attachment going to outside things and beings. If that attachment comes towards self, knowing the self, remembering the self, then when you start tasting, when you have fragrance of this self within you, source of bliss, source of peace, automatically this attachment to things and beings will be less and less and will be finished. But it is an effort to start with. To know something which you can't see or hear or touch or smell or taste, groping in the dark, and to leave things in which you have interest. Vairagya, dispassion is so important, most important thing, because it is the same mind going externally which you have to bring internally. Bahyamukhi to antarmukhi, facing it inward. So vairagya is so important, dispassion. Then comes these thoughts. Mind keeps giving rise to thoughts and keep your energy externally motivated. But let's say if you have dispassion, complete dispassion, then if a thought is saying, let's go and do this, or have some plans, or whatever, or about a person, a thought is coming, he's very attractive or repulsive or whatever. If you have intense dispassion, then these thoughts will carry no meaning. They are like just noise in the head, not sticking to you. So, what happens? After a while, these thoughts starts getting less and less and less. Rather than thoughts are a problem is our attachment to things, because that attachment is giving rise to thoughts, nothing else. If I have no interest in seeing movies, then and I don't see movies, then a thought comes, let's see this movie, let's see that movie, this new movie has been released. Then, and I tell you, look, I have no interest in seeing movies. In all my life, I have never seen a movie. But can you help me? I keep getting these thoughts that please see this movie, please see that movie. What would you say to me? You will think I am stupid. If a thought is coming to see a movie and I don't have interest and I've never seen, then let that thought stay. I have never seen ice hockey. And I also never get a thought that I have to watch ice hockey. How a thought will come to you which you have no interest? Just understand this truth. It is very easy to blame your thoughts. Go deeper into it. Why these thoughts are coming to me? I must have put some interest in the past, maybe not now. But I have fed that music. Now listen to that music. Or if it is a noise, listen to that noise for a while. Now, this is hypocrisy that you have fed that music to your mind and now you're saying you don't want to listen to it. Mind is saying, you only told me. Don't think anyone else has put this music in your mind. It is your desires. Maybe some desires might be at a subconscious level. And who knows that right now you are saying you have no interest, but in the evening you have interest in all these things. In morning you have no interest. Because that's what the mind is. It keeps changing. It's the biggest deceiver. When the mind becomes silent, then you are with infinite time, beyond time. There is no rush for anything. then literally you become stillness. I would say Vairagya is the key. If your aim is self realization, abiding in self, if your aim is total freedom, then you have to take this step of Vairagya very seriously. Otherwise, you are deceiving your own efforts. One step forward and two step backward. And so the ashram way was really good, which used to happen in the past. If you go to India, they actually constructed caves, man made caves in mountains, in Ajanta, Ellora. You go so many places, in Rishikesh, in Himalaya. Some are already caves, but some they will give a bit of shape for masses, like so many people were coming there. Because solitude is needed, especially when you are a new seeker. Everything entices your mind. Spending time in solitude, spending time with your own self, not engaging all the time in chit chatting with people, speaking nonsense. This mind, which has to become strong and focused and one pointed, so it can move its energy to know the self. If it keeps going outwardly in so many directions, then how would you know it? And I have to tell you this path of Bhagavan, and it's not path of Bhagavan, it was always there. All these books, Ashtavakra Gita, if you see, it's this direct path. What Ribhu Gita says is direct path only. But this direct path, they say, is for one who has very little dust in his eye. That's the way they describe it. Or where the veil is just like a little bit of a smoke, not like a thick dust on a mirror, or not like the fetus in the womb. So the thing is that if you are listening and something is opening, then definitely it is working for you. Otherwise, to bring that focus, other methods are also very important. Change in your food, doing regular japa. Japa has a lot of power. To bring concentrate your mind to one thing, bring it there. Pranayam also has the same role. Regulation of breath is controlling your mind. But with a person with intense devotion, an extreme dispassion, then just stay, just be. Mind which is not seeking anything can only know the self. I'll tell you, this state of stillness is so beautiful. And it's not that you're gaining from outside, it is always there. And it is you. All the noise is outside you. This whole world, even your mind. Mind is more close to the word than you. Know this truth. All projection of this word is coming from mind, including this body. All thoughts coming from mind. If I can say this mind is samsara, nothing else. When you sleep, in deep sleep, mind goes away, samsara goes away, word goes away. And then what is left is you. Touch that stillness in a waking state, and you are free. But cycle of waking, dream, deep sleep tells us every day in 24 hours what we are. Some sanity which appears to us comes through that deep sleep only. If you take away deep sleep, then we all will be in mental asylums, though there are no mental asylums nowadays, but this whole world will be like that. That absolute God is full of compassion. He has given all hints to us. And He never left us. You know why? He has kept this exit door for all beings. That the day you decide enough of it, I will suck you in. I will bring you back from where we all started. Even it might be billions of years, doesn't matter, but I will take you there. The moment you say, I have had enough of it. So full of compassion, see His compassion. Then another person says, no, I want to achieve, I am a doer. I want to be president of America. He says, go and get it. I am with you and you can do what you want. He's okay. He's okay. He's in total acceptance. If you want to know him, he's for you. If you want to know the word, he's with you. But there's only one rule in this game. If you want to know him, then you only have to know him. It is not like your wish list, that God is number 9 on your wish list. Then it cannot happen. It's all or none. For some people, it's a big deal. Because again, you have a lot of interest in so many things. You don't want to leave anything. Attachment is so intense, and you have a long list of goals, so many dreams to fulfill. You have no time to know yourself. Last birth also was the same case. That's why you have been given this birth. Again, there is a long list. When somehow he understands, and he understands more than you understand, he starts revealing you your own self. Even though your vairagya, your dispassion is not complete, but he thinks there is opening. He also wants to manifest in all beings if they are ready for it. And this is grace. And this is so beautiful. I'll give you a very simple technique you can practice for a day. Let the day unfold as it has to. Don't have any sankalpa, any intentions to do this or do that. I'm not asking you to just sit in a room and close the door. But see how the demand of life will put you into a situation where you have to do something. Or a call comes, or you are needed somewhere. Move in that spontaneity. Without your own intentions. understanding that this energy wants you to be at this place at this moment to do this, intend to do this. And you move in the silence from one task to other task, and then a lot of gap between it, a lot of peace. And then the peace emanates in the act and in your talk and in your actions. And whether you tell anyone or not that what internally you're doing, that pure love, that innocence is like infectious. It percolates in the environment. And others can feel that warmth, that love. When you are at peace, then whole world around you becomes peaceful. And that peace comes from the absolute. When your mind is completely still, no ripples, like a deep ocean of peace all the time. It says so many things even when you don't speak. Your presence can be felt in a beautiful way when you sit in this presence without ego, without this chattering mind, without proving anything or disproving anything, and without intention. This is perfect stillness, contentment, and also total freedom. Understand what this freedom is: freedom from the mind, freedom from I have to do this, I have to do that, this, and all anxiety and restlessness and all that, creating stress, waking you up at middle of night, creating different emotions and moods in you, and all what situation occurring around us, making us happy, unhappy. All this comes from mind. If you put this gadget away, you're always in this perfect bliss. Spend one time without any intention. When the mind brings an intention, just watch it. One important change happens, abiding as self. When this mind wants to talk and he finds a conducive atmosphere, it only talks about self. It is like it has found that beloved. Is always praising that Lord, in heart. Not everywhere. It can do everywhere also. But if there is someone listening to it, someone interested in it, someone who is also looking for it, and it has lost interest in all sorts of things, though it might be still doing things as required by the body, but all attention is on that self. It's completely absorbed in it. You know who enjoys the most this bliss? It is mind. Who has caused suffering to mind? Ego. When the ego has gone away, mind is in perfect bliss. It is like the previous boss always made this servant mind on a run. Do this for me, get me this, I want this, no, I don't want this, making mind so confused. Now the ego gone, mind is in complete rest. No desires, no intentions, no attachments, no strong likes or dislikes, non judgmental, nothing left to gossip, self gossip. You will be amazed to know that science has found brain circuit known as ego circuit. We call it default mode network. And in this circuit gets lightened up in the brain when we are brooding, doing self-talk. In serious meditators, this circuit almost disappears. Even if when they are given a task to behave like that, it does not lighten up the way it is in others. When we say, when you realize self, name and forms disappear or the word is not there. Some people take it in literal sense. It is like there is no effect of the word or the mind or the body on you. Effect of these things are only on ego because ego thinks I am this body. But when you know the truth, word stays or disappear doesn't matter. It is like a snake from which you have taken away the poison. It is harmless now. That poison is ego. Abiding in self, nothing changes externally, but internally everything is different. Abiding in self is to be free from everything. Now, whatever comes and goes does not affect you. Abiding in source is abiding in peace. Your own peace, independent of world peace. But this peace can help in world peace in a profound way. Be in that all the time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you, Sanjay.